There is a peace that cannot be purchased with money, a peace that cannot be gained through human effort, but only discovered when the heart is fully yielded to the Lord. It is a peace that silences the restless thoughts of uncertainty and steadies your steps when you feel unsure of the path ahead. It is the confidence of knowing that your life is safely placed in the hands of the one who knows every beginning and every ending before they ever unfold. My dear friends, no amount of strategy or human wisdom can compare to the blessing of walking in harmony with the will of God. No plan or effort of man can equal the security that comes when your life is directed by His perfect hand. The burdens that weigh heavy on your shoulders begin to lift when you decide you will not carry them alone. And when you place every care before the throne of God, your mind finds rest, your heart grows stronger, and your decisions are guided from above. Proverbs 3 verses 5 to 6 declares, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He shall direct your paths." This is not a call to be idle, but a call to be surrendered, to live in full awareness that when you place your plans into His hands, He not only directs your steps, but aligns your thoughts with His wisdom. Think for a moment of a gardener shaping and tending to a vine. The vine may grow wild and unsteady at first, reaching in every direction, but as it yields to the gardener's care, it is trained to grow in strength and fruitfulness. If it resisted His hand, it would grow tangled and unfruitful. But because it yields, it becomes strong, steady, and able to bear much fruit. In the same way, our lives flourish when we yield to the hand of our Master. Today, I want to speak to you about the power of entrusting every part of your life into the hands of God. When you believe that God's plan for your life is greater than your own, you will find courage to stand in faith and strength to pray with boldness. So let us open our hearts together and receive this word of truth. Surrender brings divine alignment. When you surrender, you are allowing God to arrange your life according to His wisdom, not your limited understanding. The surrendered heart becomes a guided heart. The life committed to God's direction is a life filled with purpose, clarity, and holy order. Psalm 55 verse 22 says, "Cast your burden on the Lord, and He shall sustain you. He shall never permit the righteous to be moved." This is God's promise that when you release every weight into His hands, He will carry you and establish you. We see this truth lived out in the life of Hannah in 1 Samuel 1. She longed for a child and carried her sorrow for many years. No effort of her own could change her situation. But when she poured out her heart before the Lord and surrendered her desire to Him, God answered her prayer, and Samuel was born. Her surrender invited God's perfect order into her life. She could not have planned the timing, but her yieldedness brought her into alignment with God's greater purpose. Friends, when you live surrendered, you no longer need to strive for control. You no longer need to run after every opportunity or fear missing out. The same God who caused Hannah to conceive at the right time will cause your life to bear fruit in the right season. Surrender does not take from you. It positions you for God's very best. Think of Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane. In His humanity, He wrestled with the weight of the cross, yet He prayed, "Not my will, but yours be done." That moment of surrender brought salvation to the world. It shows us that surrender is not weakness. It is the place where heaven's power touches earth's need. Beloved, surrender also releases God's strength in your weakness. You were never created to carry life's burdens in your own power. In 2 Corinthians 12 verse 9, the Lord said to Paul, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my strength is made perfect in weakness." This means your weakness is not your downfall. It is the very stage where God's strength is revealed. When you admit your limitations and give them to Him, you make room for His limitless power to work through you. We see this in the story of Gideon. By human standards, Gideon's army was too small to face the Midianites. But God reduced his army even further, so that when the victory came, there would be no doubt that it was the Lord's strength and not man's effort. In the same way, when you surrender your weakness, God uses it as the very place to display His glory. Surrender also aligns you with your divine purpose. Ephesians 2 verse 10 says, "For we are His workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared beforehand that we should walk in them." This means you are not here by accident. God has already prepared a path of purpose for you, and surrender is the key that opens the door to walk in it. Consider Mary, the mother of Jesus. When the angel Gabriel announced God's plan, she could have resisted in fear, but instead, she surrendered and said, "Let it be to me according to your word." Her surrender positioned her to fulfill a divine purpose that changed history. The same is true for you. Your yes to God, your decision to surrender, can unlock assignments far greater than you imagine. Friends, not every opportunity is from God, and not every closed door is failure. When you are surrendered, you gain the wisdom to know the difference. Paul wanted to preach in Asia, but the Spirit redirected him to Macedonia, where entire regions were touched by the gospel. His surrender opened the way for lives to be transformed. Surrender may not always be easy. It may require waiting longer than you expected or walking paths that others do not understand. But in every act of surrender, you are exchanging your small plans for God's greater ones. You are stepping into a story that was written before you were born, a story filled with eternal impact. So today, I encourage you, commit your way to the Lord. Lay down every fear, every burden, every decision, and every dream at His feet. Trust Him not only with the outcome, but with the process. The more you surrender, the more you will see His fingerprints all over your life. And in that place, you will walk in peace, you will walk in strength, and you will walk in divine purpose.